So I just want to reiterate something that I've said consistently over the last 2 years, that I don't think China will invade Taiwan anytime soon. But that does not mean China, and more specifically Xi Jinping, does not have other plans for Taiwan. And this is where we see China's boa constrictor strategy enter the scenario. Now, China's boa constrictor strategy towards Taiwan reflects a calculated and incremental approach to achieving unification without resorting to a direct military invasion. Now, the method mirrors the behavior of a boa constrictor, applying pressure slowly but steadily until the prey has no choice but to succumb. Now, this strategy relies on a combination of military intimidation, economic coercion, diplomatic isolation, and cyber tactics to systematically weaken Taiwan's resolve, scare its population, and isolate it internationally, thus increasing Beijing's influence over the island. Now, central to this strategy are China's military activities. Regular naval and air patrols around Taiwan are designed to project power and demonstrate Beijing's ability to encircle the island while scaring the Taiwanese populace. These exercises are not merely for show. They actually do serve a constant reminder of China's military capability and readiness to act. They've done simulated blockades, which are often incorporated to highlight Taiwan's vulnerability by illustrating how easily Beijing could disrupt trade routes or cut off critical supplies from Taiwan's allies. Such operations send messages to both Taiwan and its international supporters that any resistance could come at a high cost. However, Beijing must walk a fine line here. Too much aggression could elicit a negative response from Taiwan's partners, especially nations the Chinese actually need to continue to function as a country, such as the United States. Now, economic pressure is probably the greatest asset China has to hang over Taiwan, and it's a critical element of this boa constrictor approach. China has implemented trade restrictions on Taiwanese goods, creating vulnerabilities within Taiwan's economy. By leveraging its vast economic influences, Beijing seeks to foster dependencies that could force Taiwan into concessions over time. Now, Taiwan is actively reducing its economic dependence on China by diversifying trade partnerships, investing in emerging technologies, and strengthening international alliances. And in the first quarter of 2024, the United States actually surpassed China as Taiwan's top export destination, with exports to the U.S. totaling $24.6 billion compared to $22.4 billion to China. The Taiwanese government also plans to invest approximately $3 billion over the next 3 years to develop artificial intelligence data centers and related projects that they'll share with other countries and not China. This is aiming to enhance AI capabilities within Taiwan and reduce reliance on Chinese technology. In addition, President Lai Ching-te has called for an economic partnership agreement with the European Union to diversify economic partnerships further. But despite these efforts, China does remain Taiwan's largest trading partner in terms of imports and exports, accounting for over 20% of total trade. And Beijing has previously used economic measures, such as import bans on Taiwanese products, to exert pressure. Furthermore, China has worked tirelessly to isolate Taiwan diplomatically, pressuring nations and international organizations to exclude the island from key forums and even to not recognize Taiwan as its own sovereign nation. Now, this isolation not only limits Taiwan's global presence, but also reduces its ability to form alliances or garner international support against China's ambitions. Now, this strategy extends beyond traditional military and economic realms as well into cyber and informational domains. China conducts persistent cyber operations targeting Taiwan's critical infrastructure, government networks, and private enterprises. These cyber attacks aim to disrupt operations, gather intelligence, and create uncertainty about Taiwan's ability to defend itself. Once again, garnering fear amongst the Taiwanese populace. Now, the problem for China is they are inadvertently exposing themselves to Taiwan, because Taiwan is certainly no pushover in the cyber realm. As a highly advanced nation, Taiwan has integrated counter-cyber tactics into their porcupine strategy, where basically they make it virtually impossible to be invaded. Alongside these cyber actions, though, Beijing does employ robust disinformation campaigns to influence the Taiwanese public opinion. They want to sow discord within the population and undermine confidence in Taiwan's leadership. These efforts aim to weaken societal cohesion and create division that Beijing can exploit. It's actually a tactic China and Russia use against the United States and the European Union as well. Now, the boa constrictor strategy does not rely on any single decisive action here, but rather the cumulative effect of all of these together. They tighten their grip on Taiwan gradually and persistently over time. By combining military posturing, economic leverage, diplomatic maneuvers, and cyber operations, China is seeking to make resistance futile, leaving Taiwan with increasingly limited options to maintain its autonomy. This comprehensive approach is designed to achieve Beijing's goal of unification on its terms without provoking a full-scale conflict that could draw in the very powerful United States and broader international players with other strong navies such as Japan and the UK into the fray. When China does this slowly and incrementally, they find a path that can avoid war while still potentially reaching its goals over the next decade or two.